I feel like I've always had an addictive personality, and I was always kind of headed for the path of drug addiction anyways. Like, as a child, I just craved candy, and I would go hunting and searching for it. I craved highs all the time. I did things like I would steal from little markets, even though I knew that my parents would probably purchase it for me if I asked for it, but I liked the feeling of taking something and getting a high from it almost, this rush of, I took it, and that kind of turned into bigger things. I don't think it was just pursuing really big highs for me. It was just trying to get attention. Like I really craved attention, and I wanted to be recognized. I wanted, whether it was good attention or bad attention, like I wanted to feel people saw me. When I was younger, I don't know how old I was, but I was very small, and I was molested as a child by my mom's friend's husband. My mom was with her church friend, and they were talking, and her friend's husband had taken me into another room with my brother, and my brother was unbeknownst to what was going on. He was busy playing video games while I was being molested. And so in that moment as a child, I remember wanting so badly to tell my mom, because I knew something wasn't right, but I just couldn't tell her. And even after, I just couldn't tell her. And I really wanted my mom to know. And I think subconsciously, like I always was like, I want my mom to say that she knows and she understands, and that she's, sorry, and she's got me and she loves me. I don't know why, I wanted her to know, but I never said anything for her to know. And I never told my mom and dad, and it's just weird, but I wanted them to find out on their own way, which is, how could they know if I don't tell them? But I think I always had that feeling inside that I wanted them to know. And I think after that, I felt like, because they didn't know, they didn't love me, they didn't protect me, even though they said they loved me and they did so much for me to show that they loved me. That one thing caused something is wrong with me. I felt really disgusting inside out. I was a kid, so I was really confused. I didn't exactly know what happened, but I knew what happened was not right, because I was scared, and I was scared to talk about it. And so after that, I had blamed my brother because it had happened to me and not him, so I was mean to my brother. I picked on him, and I blamed things all the time on him. I continued to lie about just little things, and it just kind of got bigger and bigger, and everybody, knew me as a manipulative little lying girl. And I identified myself as that. That's how I was performing thus far in my life. And also being biracial in a predominantly white area and family, I think people looked at me differently and treated me differently, and so they were disgusted by me, so I'm disgusted by me too, you know what I mean? So and because of what happened, and what people said, it's all of it just compiled on top of each other, Angela, this is who you are, and so I believe that about myself. And if I want attention, I'm not going to get it because I'm the pretty white girl with blonde hair. I'm not going to get it because I'm super smart. I'm not going to get it because I'm so sweet and a good kid. The only way to get attention for me was to manipulate, lie, be crazy, be wild and outlandish, and chase those highs. So I never really, I didn't value myself at all. I had no value for myself, and that ugliness inside was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm looking for new things to fill it with. And like I said, I always kind of had an addictive personality, and I was always chasing some kind of high, even as a child. So as I got older and things got introduced to me, like alcohol and, marijuana, and then it was cocaine, and then it was crystal meth, and, it just, whatever I could get my hands on, that's what I was doing. And by the time I was in high school, I was a full-blown drug addict, and I was even dealing drugs. And I had a huge crystal meth addiction, and I'm only in high school at this point. And my parents, I don't think, really had a clue to what was really going on. I think they thought it was just like hormonal, angry teenager. But it wasn't just a hormonal, angry teenager thing. It was, yeah, I'm angry, I'm hurting, I'm empty, and I'm filling it with drugs. And I'm extremely depressed at this point in my life as well. And I had discovered self-mutilation at this point, and I was cutting myself and, suicidal, tried committing suicide several times in my life. For me, it wasn't like hitting a rock bottom, because I think that I should have gone all the way to death, if you ask me. That's what I was searching for. I wanted to end my life. Like, I didn't care how deep, how hard I was going. I don't think there was ever really a rock bottom for me. I was on the streets, I got involved in criminal activities. It got to the point where my parents didn't want to let me know where they lived. I was very promiscuous with my life, and I just didn't care about who I was and what I was doing. And so for me, it wasn't a rock bottom point. It was like, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, and then it was like, okay, I guess I'll try this, kind of a thing. And I got into a point where I was at a crossroads where I had contacted my parents, and I needed somewhere to go. And I had asked them, like, hey, they've moved to California at this point, and my dad was a worship pastor at a church that had a recovery program, and there was a lot of recovery people there, which was different from other churches that traditionally I had grown up in and seeing my parents go to, which were, churches that you had to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way to be in. And that's what I referenced church and God to be like. So my dad said that I could come home, but if I came home to their new home, that I had to take part in their church, in their recovery program. And I said, fine, sure, why not, Did I think that I was actually going to get clean? And did I actually think that, my life was about to change? No, I didn't think that. I didn't believe that it was going to do anything for me, because to me, in my mind, God, church, and recovery, like, it was all just kind of a sham. And everybody in life needs some kind of crutch to get through it anyways, because life sucks. So instead of having this Jesus or this God to lean on like all these other people do, for me, I'm going to continue to get something out of it, and I'm going to get high, might as well, while I'm at it. That was my thought. But I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, Dad, sure. Whatever you say, I'll go. So I came to their new home, and I had gone to their church, and, I went, but I wasn't like open or anything. I was still looked very crazy on the outside. I dressed however I wanted to and acted however I wanted to. I didn't care that my dad was the worship pastor and that I was representing him. I came in with quite the attitude, and people were trying to introduce themselves to me and love on me, and I basically told them, F you, leave me alone, don't look at me, don't touch me, I don't want anything to do with you and your church, I'm just here so I have a place to stay. Pretty much. On a Thursday, I know because women's groups were always on Thursdays, so on a Thursday there was a women's Bible study and the pastor's wife was preaching, and she had used my mother as an example of, because my mom's Korean, about how she did not understand American culture and American language and American way of life until she came to America. And when she came to America, that's when she started to understand the language and the culture and everything, because she became a part of it. She was in America. So she used that as an example and said the same thing is with Jesus. If you want to know Jesus, if you want to understand his word, if you want to understand his people, you need to be a part of it. You need to open up to understand it. And that clicked for me. And I was like, wow, okay, if I want to understand why these people love me so much, even though I don't love them, and why do they feel so happy? Where's their happiness coming from? Is this Jesus real? If I want to know, I guess I got to open up and be a part of it. So following that Thursday on a Sunday service, the pastor was preaching, and I don't know exactly what he was preaching about, but whatever he had preached about, it stuck with me. It was touching me. I did open up to I was opening up to understand. I had taken what she had said from the Thursday previous and said, okay, I want to understand it. And whatever he was saying, all the sermons on Sundays before, I never understood what he said. Like it didn't make any sense what was coming out. But this Sunday, what he said was making sense to me, and I was understanding it, and it was transforming me. I knew what he was saying. He was speaking to me. It was like that sermon was for me. And I just was like, this is for me. I don't have to feel empty. I don't have to have that void. I don't have to chase that high anymore. I can have Jesus to take care of all of that for me. It can be real for me, just like it's real for everybody else. So I was praying, and I felt God wrapping his arms around me and finally feeling loved. I'd never felt love, and I was chasing love. There's so many avenues in my life. I wanted attention. I wanted to be loved. And God was telling me that he loved me. His attention has always been on me. And he's waiting for me. And I finally said, okay, Lord, here I am. I'm yours. And after that, it wasn't like, wow, overnight Angela's like transformed, you know? It'd taken time, but I knew after that I didn't need to chase a high anymore. I didn't need drugs anymore. I didn't need that lifestyle anymore. I didn't need to do criminal activity. Like, I wanted to be happy, and it wasn't just about happiness, it was about joy. And because there were moments that I was not happy, and life still happens after you find God. But I actually had joy, and I had felt that void was gone. I'm at a place in my life now where, because I've recovered, Jesus has recovered me, you know. I don't have to identify myself as my name is Angela, and I'm a recovering drug addict. No, I'm redeemed. I'm a daughter of God. I am a child of Christ, you know? And I want others to feel that and have that too. And I think what's really important in recovery is not just servicing yourself, but servicing others. And I know throughout my journey that has helped me, don't just focus on myself, because when I focus on myself, then I can internalize and feel bad for myself again and all that stuff. But focusing on others and helping others, it helps me. And it reminds me of where I was, you know what I mean, and where God has brought me. And so I get excited when I see people where I was, and I know where they can be, and I know that they can have a story because I have a story, and I know that God can change them from a drug addict or an alcoholic or a self-mutilator or a depressed. God can change their story into redeemed, into rescued, into a child or daughter of God too. And why wouldn't I offer that when God brings people into my life? Nothing is by accident, and everything is on purpose. And those people that were in the church loving on me, they were at a certain point in their recovery for a reason, and they were loving on me for a reason because they wanted that for me too. So who am I to not do that for other people? It's my absolute pleasure and joy to be able to see that happen for somebody else like it happened for me. But I think right now is the right time because people are really hurting, and addiction is probably more rampant, and depression is more rampant than any other time. And so now is the time that we can reach out and help people and show them Jesus. Hi, my name is Angela Stoutenberg. I'm a recovering addict, and this is my story.